I love you. Gentlefolk, ladies and men, you have tuned in to an exciting episode about the will of God and the end of times. So sit back, strap in or strap on, and enjoy. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
Yes, and I am Reverend Faceless Leone. And
Yes.
Welcome to Green Faces on the Couch, where we talk serious matters of theology, religiosity,
and amen.
And damnation.
Preach.
This is a podcast about movies and TV. And we're talking about Left Behind. And,
God.
Just to save you from your confusion, this is the movie that came out in 2019 that stars Nick Cage, because this is the Nick Cage playlist, so hopefully you're not confused. What's that?
2014.
What did I say?
2019.
Yep. Not that one. So,
man, I bet they have remade it too. They probably did.
Oh, they have.
Not.
Yeah, they have. There's a 2016 movie.
Oh my god!
Well, it has a subtitle, but I don't think it can't be related to this movie. There's just absolutely no way it's related to this movie. But this isn't the first time that this novel has been adapted into a movie. So back in 2000. There was a Canadian-American version that was straight to video, and then had a theatrical release after that. And I can tell you full-heartedly, I haven't watched it since I was 7. It's better than this movie. I'm sorry to give my closing statement up front.
Oh no, everything's better than this movie. If you don't know, if you've never heard of Left Behind, this is the era of Nick Cage where he was in a lot of garbage. It's kind of like the dark ages of his film career when he was just, I don't know what he was doing. He was just doing everything.
He was just making money.
And, he was just making money, man. He just doing what he wanted to do. But Left Behind is this big religious fantasy series of like 13, 14 novels.
Something like that.
Yeah, I own them all. I have a very proud library, over 1,000, maybe 1,500 books now. And, I need some good comedy in my library, so I had to have this entire collection. And I'm sorry, that's what it is. It is comedy. It is a massive reimagination of the Book of Revelations. Of the end of times, of the rapture happening, all the good people in the world are taken up to heaven, and all the sinners are left on earth, and hell's about to happen. There's supposed to be an antichrist coming, all this fun, good, exciting shit about the end of the world. The only argument I have is, and I don't mean this meanly, but if there were to be a rapture, if all the deeply devout were to be taken, man, I can't imagine a more peaceful place on the world. There's so many times where people are fighting and it's over religion. A lot of wars are over religion or boundaries.
That's true.
It's just
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not saying that all religious people are mean. I'm just saying that I feel like if it was just a planet left of atheists, I don't know, we might get shit done.
Well, okay, so, some of those people were atheists. They just weren't true believers. They thought that they believed it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the Reverend at the very end of the movie, who barely says anything, who was a main character in the other movie.
Oh, I do remember him. I do remember him now, actually. I do. The daughter goes and visits him, right?
Yes, Pastor Bruce Barnes.
Yeah, sorry. The daughter's played by Cassie Thompson. Her name is Chloe Steele. Daughter to, of course, Rayford Steele, Nick Cage's character. The pilot.
The pilot of the plane. So, this is Pastor Bruce Barnes, Lance E. Nicholas. So, this is the first time I watched this movie. This version of this story.
Oh, man.
And I was like, when are they going to bring in Bruce Barnes? They've talked about him like 6 times. When are they going to bring him in? And they bring him in for like a half-a-minute scene at the very end of the movie. And I swear to God, he was like a main character in the other movie.
I think so. I mean, he's credited as the 7th person out of like 28 on Wikipedia. So like Wikipedia thinks he's important.
He's the top 3%. That's not it. The top 30%.
Man, it's sad. I mean, this whole movie is sad, but like, before we get into it, I wanted to take two little trails down the rabbit hole here. First off, this movie holds a very proud 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I clicked on that before we started recording and was very happy to see that of the history of cinema, only 43 films have managed that beautiful achievement of having a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is a 0% critics rating. Right. The audience at the very least has given Left Behind a 2% review, so that, it's a little better. It's a little better. 2% of people out there who are the audience members like this film. It's probably just Nick Cage and his own family. I wanted to look through here, though. I just wanted to quickly look through and see if I recognize any of these other 0% films. There's Jaws: The Revenge. Jaws number 4. That's the one with Michael Caine, where he famously said in a interview, somebody asked him, "Have you seen Jaws: Revenge?" And he was just like, "I saw the house you bought me." That's a very bad Michael Caine, but I don't recognize any other. There's a National Lampoon's Gold Diggers. I've never seen it.
Oh my God!
I mean, I know National Lampoon's. Max Steel. That sounds familiar. Max Steel.
Yeah, that was like a kid thing.
Right. Yeah, that came out 6 years ago. Yeah, I don't recognize any of these other films. So that was one fun rabbit trail I wanted to just like quickly shoot down just to see if see what kind of competition Left Behind was holding up against. The other one will bring us into the plot synopsis. I mean, we've already kind of talked the plot synopsis, but a deeper look into it. I mean, we mentioned that the rapture happened and we're focused on the people left behind. As the title implies.
That is the concept. That is like the pitch when they're pitching in the room.
I wanted to lead into the synopsis with the movie with a quick dive into the book synopsis.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, this will be good.
Yeah, on Wikipedia there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. There's 9 paragraphs. A couple of those paragraphs are just 1 or 2 lines, but that's the synopsis for this. It's very, about 10 long paragraphs. I keep changing the number on it. But anyways, it starts off with, the story begins with Cameron Buck Williams, who in this movie is played by Chad Michael Murray. A renowned journalist, having recently survived an attempted invasion of Israel on board a plane piloted by Rayford Steele, our Nick Cage hero, en route to London. Suddenly, several passengers disappear without a trace. Upon being notified by Flight Attendant Hattie Durham, Steele contacts another pilot, only to learn that the disappearances have been reported around the world. Steele lands the plane in Chicago, which has descended into anarchy and chaos. He rushes home, blah, 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 blah. So, by the beginning of paragraph 2, Steele landed the plane in Chicago. Now, Blake, will you tell us what happens in the movie?
So, they're running out of fuel constantly. So the plane, the people, they evaporate, right? Or whatever happens.
They rapture.
The rapture happens and they're gone. Then, they're still in this plane, but they can't get a hold of nobody because they're like, it's just happening in the plane. But really, it's happening all over the place. Yeah, even Chloe's like, oh, this has to be just happening as her little brother just evaporates out of her arms. And she still thinks that somebody took him.
I mean, hell, maybe he ran away, got away from the person who kidnapped him. Maybe he got back home. She has to check home.
She was holding on to her, Greenie. On to him. Why do I keep... Okay, Raimi Steele, played by Major Dodson. I'm sorry for misgendering you. But she was holding on to him, and he disappeared. And then she questioned that he was kidnapped.
It was amazing I'm sure, effects, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of...
Yeah, all the, like, quick jump cuts.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I kind of looked away each time it happened. I'll be honest.
It was bad. It was literally like, it wasn't terrible, but like you could definitely see that it was like a different take. But like they did a decent job at matching, bodies and everything. So like, her body was in the same position when the take switched and she was no longer holding a human. She was just holding clothes. And there's also like a flash of white light to kind of like fool your eye into thinking everything's in the right position so that you're not like actually sure if everything was in the right position. Like, they cut it with a big bright flash of white so that your whole mind is wiped from the original image. So
still has his clothes, but he must have been taken by somebody.
He must be taken.
I mean, okay, obviously she's in like shock or whatever. People don't just vanish. Most of the time.
I mean, but especially when it happened to a lot of people about her. Like, it wasn't just her brother.
Right. And, there's also, like, a lot of people around her who just disappear. And I don't know. Maybe it's just because my perception is shifted, but I can't tell if this film is biased in the percentage of how many people they think are Christian.
Oh yeah. No,
there's just a lot of people who disappear, but
right. Yeah, if this film were to happen now, if it were to happen in 2022, I'm sure the number would be a lot lower because I think even the most devout got quite angry and sinful during the pandemics.
Wow.
Oh, I'm just saying. I think everybody being quarantined made people a little more riled up. To where even the most, like, devout person, just from being locked in for so long, once they finally got out, I'm sure they committed some kind of sin, and it's just like, well...
we're all edgy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure in all the time there are many who have atoned, but I think the numbers would be much lower than if this film were to take place today.
And also, that's another part of it, is, like, you said, like, atonement. Like, I don't know. That kind of teaching is different in each of the different sects of the religion.
Right.
And like one thing that makes me mad about this story is that there's this Muslim character. I can't remember his name, but he's one of the plane passengers. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't get taken in the rapture, but yet he is very clearly a devout person. And it's like, come on. And like, I know they're doing like the Christian rapture thing, but
right.
I don't know. That is my whole problem with religion is that we're the only true religion part of it, which a lot of religions
so few
have.
Open. Yeah, it's my big problem is it teaches you to be closed-minded in that regard, and it's just I don't know. I just want everybody to be accepted, but at the same time, I'm just like, I want to accept you, but you have to accept everyone else. That's what I want.
Like, when you're persecuting against other people, it makes it really hard for me to want to accept you as a person and that's surrounding me.
Now, I guess it could be argued, and I'm not arguing it, but I'm just mentioning that it could be argued that the Muslim man, while he was devout, he did have his own sins because he was quite rude to some of the other passengers at times, but he was also one of the least rude people on that plane.
He was one of the least rude people, and he was rudest to Melvin Weir, played by Martin Klebla, and I do apologize because I think I said your name wrong, but Melvin
Martin Kleba or Kleba, I don't know, but he's from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes,
yeah,
and he is a little person, and part of that is played so hard for his character. Like, he's just so angry at everybody because they, they're constantly giving him glances, offering him help. And, like, I get that, but they definitely just use it as a character trope for him. So
yeah,
I feel that Melvin is not very good representation, especially also because he's very rude. Man, I wish I remember what the character's name was, but the Muslim character, Hasid, I found it. Hasid, played by Alec Raimi, but not the Raimi that's the character in the story.
Yeah, or the director, not Sam Raimi.
Not Sam Raimi either, Alec Raimi. So he's very rude to Hassad, and I feel like this movie, like time-wise, is far enough removed away from 9/11 for all the Islamophobia, but
yeah,
Melvin is really throwing it on there for this.
Right. And it's also, even though it's still far away from 9/11, like, Chad Michael Murray just, like, walked up to the cockpit, no trouble, and it's just like, hey, bro, I know you're the pilot. I got your tickets here to go see U2 with with the flight attendant you're banging back there, even though you're married, whatever.
Jeez. But Nikki Whalen plays Hattie Durham, the flight attendant, and I mean, I'm gonna say she did a pretty good job.
Yeah, her and Chad Michael Murray were like the only two. I mean, Nick Cage is hilarious to watch, but he's not doing a very Nick Cage performance in this one.
No, he's not doing like his top form, but he's just doing the job. I'm not gonna say that he did a bad job either, because there's nothing to this script. They are in a plane for an hour and a half for no reason. That's not the story. That's not the story that was in the book. They're on the plane for the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie. And when they land a plane, the only mean thing that Hasid does is kick Melvin off the plane, which is very rude, obviously.
Yeah.
Not really. It's not really. It's like so awful that it's funny. Like, it was done to be funny, but it wasn't funny, and it was funny because they were trying to be funny. And I
I know what you're saying.
I just can't believe it.
They achieved laughter, but not in the right way.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And like, if I think about it correctly, I think there's only like 2 or 3 scenes where Nick Cage is not in the cockpit. So I think like all of his filming takes place just in that one spot. So that's convenient for him. He probably only had to do 1 or 2 days of filming.
That's true. He's also like the coolest pilot.
Oh yeah. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him.
That there is. He's the only one wearing aviators, which I find to be unrealistic, personally.
Let's be honest. I like also, the movie starts off with him like delivering a hilarious joke to one of the flight attendants. And, like, she laughs uproariously. She's like, oh, my God, that's so funny. And then the other flight attendant there is just like, oh, my God, Mr. Steele, I can't believe you would make that joke. Like, jeez.
Yeah.
She's the religious one.
Yeah, which we find out, we did not know until the rapture happened.
Right. She had a cross on. I
say and then, but going back to the beginning of the movie, Chloe is coming home to surprise her father for his birthday.
Right.
And he decided to take a call in from work, but really it's to go have an affair with Hattie.
Right.
They haven't had an affair yet.
Girlfriends over daughters.
Well, also, after he find out his daughter is in town, and he's there at the airport to fly the plane away, it might be pretty hard for him to say, hey, boss, my daughter's here. I'm not flying that plane.
But I think they mentioned like 8 times, though, that he knew in advance that she was going to be there, and he still took the flight.
Oh.
Yeah. Because that's why he calls her.
I kept on thinking he didn't really know.
Yeah, I think he did, because that's like when the rapture happens and when they finally get a cell phone signal, which is hilarious also, by the way, because, I don't know how many times I've been on an airplane. I haven't been in a long time. and I'm sure this has gone away. Yeah. But I don't know about 2000. I feel like 2014. They're probably still telling you to turn your phones off before mid-flight. You're fine. I know, I'm sure it's fine mid-flight. But it's hilarious that this whole movie is about them trying to find signal while they're in their airplane. Yeah. And it's just,
so
losing it,
this also might have actually been explained in this movie. Being Rayford and Buck, Nicholas and Chad's character, have sat phones.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's different. You're right. Okay.
That's right. This movie outsmarted you.
You're right. It's still a hilarious message, though, of of constantly just needing your cell phone signal while on an airplane.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It is. It kind of feels a little early for that, but whatever.
Oh, sorry. When they finally do get through, though, he immediately calls Chloe, and he's just like, "I'm so sorry. I should have stayed. I wasn't. I love you. I was just trying to get away from your mother. Like, she's a bitch, but
yeah, but she's not really. She's just okay. So the mother of the family, Irene Steele, played by Leah Thompson.
Was she in this movie?
Has recently, She was actually in this movie. She had a scene with Chloe, at least, maybe two. There wasn't a scene. Nicholas never talks to Leah. That's for damn sure. In the whole length of the movie, that does not happen. But Irene has recently accepted Jesus into her heart. And, it's become very important to her.
Right.
And Rayford is like, I ain't about it. So, he's not that mean about it, but he's also going to go have an affair. Because he feels like he's married to a different woman than he used to be. But Chloe really is kind of against it. Oh, I just realized that it's Cassie Thompson and Leah Thompson. And I was almost like, oh, wow, they're related. And it's, no. No P. No P in Cassie's name. So, Chloe's, gone off to college, gotten brainwashed. She's, she can't accept that people could believe in a God because why would he do all the horrible things that have been done or let happen all the horrible things that have
Classic excuses.
Classic excuse. And so she just wants to argue with her mom about it when her mom, just wants to talk to her about it, which I get.
It's what you do.
Can be frustrating and annoying when a faithful person comes to you and tries to evangelize to you. But, in my opinion, just sit there, have a friendly conversation about it, be honest about your feelings without being hurtful. You can do it. If they keep on being pushy, you can say, hey, I don't really want to talk about this anymore.
I say you retreat.
I feel like I said my piece. What?
I say you retreat, you cower in a corner, and you tell him to go away while swatting at him with a fly swatter. Like, go!
Get out of here!
I want to hear about your God!
Yeah.
Ooh. Large thunder and lightning outside my apartment. It's getting exciting here, folks.
Ooh.
God's not liking the fact that we're dissing on this movie.
I know. He's gonna get us. Oh, well, we'll see if our potato pick comes out on May. On Thursday here.
Right. Maybe he'll smite us down. Your podcast is no more. You know what I was really sad about
How dare you?
I was really sad that this movie didn't have anything to do with the Antichrist. Because I've read the whole series. I read all of the books. I found them very fascinating, and I'm sorry, I did find them very funny, and that's what got me through it. Was I found it very hilarious. It was very entertaining, and my favorite character, though,
I gotta say, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, my favorite character was the Antichrist. He was just fascinating. I was just like, yes.
He's good in that movie. In the movie I saw, he was really good.
Yeah. I actually...
He's not in this movie.
See, that's the thing, is I've seen the other movie. I don't remember it, but I remember him. That's it. I just remember him in it.
He was slick.
Ooh, yeah.
Smooth.
He's like the devil, but a human. I don't know. I'm ready
Is that the definition?
I'm ready to do closing statements if you are with this film.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's be done with Left Behind.
I absolutely love it.
We'll be back with Vanishes, Left Behind. I think that's what they titled the next installment.
Nope, we're not watching it.
So, I'm hoping it has nothing to do.
It was. I have it here. Hold on a second. It was. It was intended to be another start, a new film drawing inspiration from the Twilight Saga, if you'll believe it, trying to market itself for a younger audience. It was called Vanished, Left Behind, Next Generation. All one. It was Vanished hyphen Left Behind semicolons or just colons Next Generation. That was its title. This is
one movie?
That was the next movie. That was its title. It was Vanished, Left Behind, Next Generation. Came out in 2016.
If you would like to watch, listen to us complain about watching that movie, then you should go to patreon.com/greenerfaceless.
It's the only way we're watching it.
Become a real couch potato. Send us $5 a month. We'd enjoy that. And in turn, you can make suggestions on what we watch for the Potato Pick, which is coming out this Thursday.
Exactly, and that's the only way we'll be watching that film, is if you subscribe to our Patreon, if you help us out and recommend it as a Patreon pick. And it gets voted on. It's got to get voted on.
It also got to get voted on, that's true. And if you just want to vote on the movies for the Potato Pick, if you're like, man, I don't have any good ideas, but I also hate what they're choosing, then that's you true. Can pay only $2. That's a quarter a show for a vote. Okay, you want to finish your closing statement?
Yeah, I absolutely love this film. I think it is phenomenal. It was great fun. I was laughing throughout. The effects are so bad. Like, this is a perfect bad film. Like, this is up there with The Room for me because it was so fucking funny. The acting is so wooden. Like, the dialogue is awful. Yeah. There's a scene where they're in the mall, and it was very clear that the filmmaker probably wasn't supposed to be in there filming because there were some faces that were kind of blurred out or like used out of focus, and then the audio was terrible. It was muted as fuck. It was like they probably had like one on the body mic, and that was it. And they were just like, all right, we're gonna hope that picks up the kid too, because we don't have another mic that's, we can't carry a boom mic in here. It's terrible. It's just It's so bad. And then the daughter for like a solid hour of this film is useless. Chloe just wanders around the entire city, going from like place to place, just looking up at like, what the fuck? And like, then like a vehicle will come crashing through a building, and like they try to like make it very action and exciting. Like, oh my God, she's gonna die. Yeah. Okay, she's fine.
And it like this takes place over the whole movie pretty much that she does this.
Yeah.
And
she never stops.
If however many percentage of the population just disappears, those cars that are gonna crash and stuff because they don't have a driver anymore, they would have crashed by the hour mark the movie.
You just reminded me of another thing that really pissed me off too is I have an explanation for it, but it still pisses me off. When they're about maybe an hour into the movie, like you said, when Nick Cage's plane comes upon another plane set right in their trajectory. It's coming right at them. And Nick raises up trying to get out of it, and they hit the plane, and that's when they start having fuel issues. It's like, that just destroyed us,
Right.
And it pisses me off because, as you just said, that plane would have gone down by now. Now, the argument is they could have set it on autopilot.
I'm not so sure the plane would have went down by now.
Yeah.
But they knew about that plane long enough in advance to get out of the way of it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely knew about the plane to get out of the way. The fact that he raises up 1,000 feet and still hits it is hilarious. Like, I mean, you could have just kept going down, I guess. Maybe you wouldn't have hit it then.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then also it's just like I get they have autopilots, but I still feel like the likelihood of it being right in their trajectory, or that it like the autopilot hadn't disengaged and the plane had just gone down, is slim, very slim. It was dumb. It was like the most dumb, hilarious. Like, we need something here. We need to up the ante. We cannot land this plane yet.
We can't land this plane yet.
It's so funny.
I feel okay. Did Nick help produce this movie?
I don't think so. No, he did not. I do want to mention that the director is Vic Armstrong, who Wikipedia assures me. Hold on, I'm going to make sure I get the wording of this right. He is the world's most prolific stunt double, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. Vic Monroe Armstrong. I love it.
All right, Vic.
It's fabulous.
All right, Vic. That actually just helps me talk about what I wanted to say more. Go ahead, rate this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not giving it a 0%. I think it is hilarious. I had a very fun time. I was in the right mood, like the right level of inebriation to find this movie a fucking riot of entertainment. And therefore, I give it 1.5 stars.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It gets a half a face. This is barely watchable, if you ask me. I did think that parts were funny. It was worth watching once. I think I would rather watch The Room over this.
Definitely. I would definitely rather watch The Room over this. I'm just saying that this is pretty close to, like, you know, it's like 2 tiers, a couple rungs below or above.
I think what it is that I have more fun laughing at The Room than I do at this, because this is just dull, really.
Yeah,
And what I was going to say about the airplane is that I feel like Rob is like, excuse me, Vic. It's Vic, the director.
Yeah.
Vic Armstrong. I feel like, I got Nick Cage. I got to focus on Nick Cage. Well, I like stunts.
Yeah.
I sure do like me some stunts. I'm just going to make this about the plane. This is going to be all about the plane. It's going to be great.
We're going to dodge another plane. And we're not going to be able to land, because how can they land if no one's there to tell them where to land?
We're going to shear off their fucking landing gear with the freaking telephone wires.
Woohoo!
Why not?
Dude,
we're going to...
The scene of the daughter...
set an explosion in the middle of Chicago.
Oh, God, yeah.
Why not?
And the scene of the daughter of Chloe clearing them a runway is phenomenal. It's just like it's just a lot of K-turns and a truck just pushing over some barricades.
Right. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It also took her forever to find a vehicle that she could get into.
She had to find a perfect truck, and I think there was product placement. I'm pretty sure they did like focus on the make and model of it. I can't remember.
I do think they did. Yeah, I do recall that, I think. But maybe that was another bad movie. Well, I think that's the end of our show.
It is, man. Honestly, yes. I know I've been very rude to religious people in this episode just because it's a religious movie and it's funny. And it's just a bad film in that regard. But, you know, there's a lot to faith. And believe what you want. Have a merry day. I hope I did not offend too badly. It was all in jest. All in fun. Fun of this movie. And jest of this movie.
Just to this movie.
Yeah, with that, I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leone. And I have one more question that I meant to ask you the whole episode. At what point did you feel left behind on this film?
I don't think
it
ever.
was before they got on the plane for me.
No, I was riveted. I love Chad Michael Murray talking to Chloe Steele in the airport. I thought that was hilarious. They meet. They talk for 5 seconds. He's very suave. They talk for like 30 seconds to a minute, and he's so suave and adorable, and she's all over it. And then he walks away, but sits at the very next table to her while she's having a conversation with her dad.
Yeah.
And he eavesdrops on all of it. And afterwards, when she sees that he was just sitting a table away and heard everything, yeah, she's of course going to sit with him. He's cute. He's suave. He's adorable.
Yeah.
They kiss.
Yeah.
They kiss within like 20 minutes of knowing each other. She tells him her whole life story, and it gets on an airplane and flies away.
It's pretty crazy.
It's a tragedy.
It's pretty crazy. They just met. I mean, she knows him because of the news. It's gross. Whatever. That's the show.
It's not gross. It's beautiful.
Don't buy this movie. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.